Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to Counselor's Couch 101. I am Jim Stump, and I appreciate your comments that you leave below. If you'd like to send an email, you can send it to us at counselorscouch101 at mail.com. Just mail.com. You know, one of the items that I usually end up talking with people I talk with all week long is the idea of self care. There is so much pressure and stress in our lives today. It seems like it's getting more. It seems like the entire culture is going through an enormous shift, and we're all trying to adjust and figure out some way to survive in the new world, in the way things are now. That's what people tell me, right? A lot of the jobs we used to have gone out of the country. They don't seem to be coming back. There's a lot of pressure and prices going up, and there's pressure as far as where we can live and vehicle prices, on and on and on. Not to mention the stress we feel from jobs. Oftentimes, people report that they don't get along with their superiors or the person that's running their crew, whatever. And it's like that person is being stressed as well. They're being pushed from above, and they're pushing the people below, and everyone's unhappy. And the people at the top just want to keep the organization growing and moving on, because if they say if it isn't growing, it's dying. So therefore, they want to have more and more results from the things they're doing in the world. It means more pressure for all of us. So I say to folks, if we can't quit our jobs and move up to Napa and open a winery, that used to be something people would talk about just as a dream, not as something most of us were going to do. But it's just the idea of getting away and going back to nature and living a simpler life, a quieter life, a more peaceful life, a more joyous life, one more in contact with nature and out in the sun and fresh air and etc. If we can't do all that, then we find ways to put little bits of that kind of an experience into the experience we're having now, right? Can be done in a lot of different ways. Oftentimes, I suggest people get involved in physical activities like biking or jogging, dancing. A lot of people are taking up with dancing these days, which is a really good idea because it's good for anxiety. Dancing helps release anxiety and depression in a whole lot of people, right? So, dancing is another one I recommend. Salsa's big, and swing dancing I hear is people are going to. Um, Also, just to get out and to be with people, join clubs. And I don't mean like nightclubs, go out and get drunk and try to pick up a stranger at 2 a.m. I'm talking about various service groups around the community. There are lots of them, and there are clubs around very many ideas. There used to be a writers club in my area that I used to go to, and people would sit down and discuss the things they're working on with their writing and the ideas they have for the future and ways of promoting it, etc., etc. Just something else to become involved in with people who share your interests in life, all right? And I say, this is not a luxury. We need to do this in order to cope with the stress and the anxieties that are being forced upon us every day of our lives in this changing world that we're trying to cope with. We need to find ways to take care of ourselves, things that we enjoy. And actually, if you put more variety in your life, most people find that their work becomes easier to cope with. They go in with more energy, with a better attitude toward what they're trying to accomplish, and better nature to get along with the people they're working with, and etc. Their entire focus is not on job, sit in traffic, go home, fall asleep, get up, and do it all over again. Their focus is more on the things they enjoy doing. A lot of folks have taken to coaching. They will coach all sorts of children's sports, and they take enjoyment in that. And there's a very large social aspect involved in all of these activities, and that is helpful as well, right? The other day we were talking about having a good friend, um, helping people out with their mental and emotional struggles, and I agree. Most of us most people I talk to don't tend to say they have many friends. Some people say they have one or two really close friends. I say if you have two close friends, you are blessed, because it is easy to know people without making friends. Friendship takes a long time and a lot of experience together to develop, right? And I tell folks I'm probably close to about two people in my life. Um, But the thing of it is, I am acquainted with hundreds of people. I have hundreds of acquaintances. I'm not bragging. It's just what happens when you're involved in the community and you're involved in the work that I do. We meet a lot of people. We know them. We can say hello to them. We remember their name and like that. And that's good. It helps us when we need to be involved socially for our own self care and our own mental stability, right? To know people to get out and get involved. But there are other things people can do. I say, hey, you should reward yourself at least once a week, if not once a day, for getting through whatever you got through for that week. And I tell folks, hey, if you want an ice cream cone, go get one, right? And say to yourself, this is my reward for putting up with all the garbage I had to put up with this week in order to earn that paycheck to pay the bills and keep the family going, right? It could be anything. Women tell me they like to go out and get their nails done, and those who can afford it tell me they go for a massage. And I think these are wonderful things to do. Get your nails done, get your hair done, and get a massage, things like that to reward yourself. They're not terribly expensive, and it goes a long way toward our outlook in life. Other things people can do. This one is get a lot of flack from people on this one, but I say, can you take a few minutes to just sit quietly? They say, I don't meditate, Jim. I can't keep it. I say, well, can you daydream? Can you just sit quietly for a few minutes and calm down and remember what it feels like to be at peace with the world? Can you do that? And they say, yeah, I can do that. I can daydream. I say, okay, why don't you put it on your schedule? You have a break at 10 a.m. every morning. Write it on your schedule to take 5 minutes to sit quietly and to think of a peaceful activity or an experience that you've had in order to calm yourself down and put yourself in a better mental and emotional place in order to cope with the rest of the day. You might even want to do it in the afternoon break as well. It just depends what you're up against. But the thing really works. Another one, little puzzle games. I say, what do you like to do that relaxes you? And one lady told me she likes Sudoku. I said, well, that's wonderful. I can't do Sudoku. I can't even do the easy ones, but she does the hardest ones, right? And she pulls up a puzzle on her cell phone, and she'll figure that sucker out in a few minutes. And she says, it takes my mind off of things, and that is exactly the point. To get us out of what we're thinking right now that feels oppressive and heavy and burdensome, and to escape it for a moment, just for a moment. She says 5 minutes, she's got her puzzle worked out. And when she puts that puzzle away, she's feeling better about life. She has a better attitude. So I say, do that. Play a Sudoku game whenever you're feeling overstressed and oppressed by your superiors and et cetera, et cetera. And the thing I hear from everybody is they say, yeah, these are good ideas, but the thing of it is, I never remember to do it. I swear to you, that's the number one comment I receive from people. Yeah, I know it's a good thing. I should do it, but I always forget. I always forget to do it, which is why I say put it on your schedule. I have an appointment book, and on my appointment book, I just write down 5-minute meds. And meditation could be anything. It could be Sudoku. It could be a quick crossword puzzle. It could be sitting quietly. It could be humming a song. It could be getting up and moving and making dance motions, whatever. It doesn't have to be the same thing every time, but it has to be something that I do to distract myself from the pressures of the day in order to put myself back into a better frame of mind in order to cope. And I have to remember to do it. That is the biggest problem. And I tell folks, I say, look, this isn't a luxury. It's not something that you can skip if you don't have the time. It is a necessity. We are all undergoing more and more stress every day. It seems to be mounting more and more as things get worse. We need to do these things. We need to learn how to take a quick walk around the block, smile and say hello to the neighbors. We don't have to stop and chat. Don't worry about that. We're not taking up their time. Just wave, say hello, and mention their name, and move along. That helps. These things really do work, and they are not luxuries. We need to start taking care of ourselves before we all fall apart. So, self-care. What is self-care for you? An ice cream cone, a new set of nails, a massage, a Sudoku, a quick walk, get up and dance, a meditation, right? A daydream. What is it for you? Put it in your schedule and make sure you do it. And do more than one thing, because people tend to skip over stuff that becomes boring over time. So get a whole bag of tricks. Write down the time of day in your schedule that you're going to do something from that list, and do one of them. And do it even if you don't think you need it, because you will find that it has a benefit. Self-care, folks, not a luxury anymore. We all need it. Take care. Thanks for stopping by. I look forward to talking with you next time.